Hello!
I miss the sweet sounds of flowers breaking ground, but I can never seem to get one grown.
As you guys know, I am moving, and I wanted to show you guys the apartment that I've been living in the past 3 years, which is in East Village. It's really small, 1. 2, it is a little bit messy. I tried to clean up as much as possible, but it's a little bit messy because we are in the process of moving, so we have like bags and like shit everywhere. I asked you guys questions on my Instagram, so I'm going to answer some of those. This is my tote bag wall, by the way. This is my tiny little living room. It was actually originally just one big room, but then we put this like shelving behind it to like kind of give some type of separation from like living and kitchen. The basics about myself that like I got a lot of questions on is I am 21 years old. My birthday is November 24th, so I'm a Sagittarius with a Cancer moon and a Virgo rising, if you guys are interested. I'm first generation in America. My mom is from Mexico City and my dad is from Guadalajara. I grew up in a very like culturally Mexican household. I was mainly living with my mom most of my life. My parents are separated, went back and forth a lot. I was raised in LA. First of all, it's not really anyone's business, but I feel like I would like to cover it because I would like to give myself credit. A lot of people think that I come from a very wealthy family and that I'm supported by my parents, but I've been financially independent since I was 17. Moved here when I was 18 completely by myself and financially independent, and I wanted to give myself credit for that because a lot of people just assume that because I live in New York and I do what I do that I am supported by like a super rich family or something, which is very, very untrue. Here's my vanity situation. Yeah, not that special. A lot of my furniture in my apartment kind of gives like an IKEA showroom type of vibe. And the first 2 years living here, I was broke as fuck. So I just kind of did like the bare necessities and whatever was functional, which is hence a bunch of Amazon, IKEA type furniture. But in my new apartment, I am investing in like trying to get things that are more my vibe and actually care of how my apartment feels and looks like, which I don't really think I did. But what I did do here is it's very functional for the space that I have. A lot of you guys were asking me on Instagram like how I started social media, how do I afford to live here, moving here at 18, career stuff, and overall summary about that is when I first moved here I was nannying. That was actually my first job for a little while. I was nannying for a family, and after that I started working in retail. I worked for Stone Island in Soho for like 6-ish months. And then I worked doing graphic design for an NFT company with one of my friends. And I did that for a couple months. And after that, then I worked at Brandy Melville for a couple months as well. And I also started doing PR at that time. I started doing PR for like a couple of random brands. Oh, I did some PR event organizing also for Double Soul and some other brands, and for my friend's company Radar, if you guys saw that last year. I was just basically doing a bunch of little jobs as anything to make ends meet, as well as working like full-time somewhere, whether that was in retail or working as a barista. I did that for like a year. I think that was the longest job. I actually still work there just because I'm so emotionally attached to it. I work there like once a week now, literally just to go and give my week a little structure, and I just don't know how to quit because I love working there. And then I started social media about a year and a half ago. One random selfie I posted just got onto the explore page, and after it got onto the explore page I was like, oh shit. And then I just started to post more frequently after that. I mean, obviously I was like, it would be sick if that were to happen again. I wasn't in the mindset where I was like, oh, I want to become a content creator, like this is what I want to do. Like, I wasn't in that mindset at all. I just started posting a little bit more consistently. Random pictures of mine would just get picked up onto the explore page, and that's kind of how it all started. And then I started posting reels, like fashion reels, like get readies with me and stuff, and that's when it really started to pick up. I was not making money off of it for a very long time. Brand deals, for example, like I think my first ever brand deal was for like $150. The first big brand that I worked with was either Doc Martens or Coach. It was one of those two. At the time, when they reached out to me, I was not signed with a management or anything, so I was doing everything myself. And obviously I would undersell myself a lot because I didn't know how any of it worked. Then I got signed with my first management agency. They were horrible. And then I signed with another management agency. They were okay. It was a lot better than my first one, but they were based in Paris, and obviously I'm based in the US, in New York. And then I found my current agency, Next Collective, and I love my managers, Reagan and Elizabeth. They're amazing, and I could not do what I do without them. They're really like when I started to like actually do the things that I do now, which is now what I do full time. And I started YouTube recently, which has been really exciting, and I would really love for YouTube to be one of the platforms that I could like get the most work on. Obviously I just started, so I have some whiles to go, but that is one of my goals for sure. Let me know if you guys want to know more about that, because I feel like I'm just talking a lot now. This is my dog's corner of stuff. It's kind of messy, but it's just all of his bullshit. See, look how little this hallway is when we have the drying rack out. I have this this like apartment washer that like hooks up to the sink, and I did do the whole laundromat thing for a while, but one, it was super fucking expensive after a while, and two, it was so much work because I live on the 4th floor of a walk-up that I just couldn't do it anymore. So my boyfriend got this for me. I think that he actually got this for me as one of my anniversary presents. Like, that's how bad I wanted one. I had this like whole wallpaper situation going on, but we just peeled it off because we had to, because I kind of would like some of my deposit back if possible. I'll insert a picture somewhere of how it looked like. It was really cute. I had this big housewarming party like 3 years ago when I first moved in, and I had everyone sign the cabinets, and I also took Polaroids of everyone, which is still up on my wall, which is really cute and a very big memory for me. Got this island because there was just simply not enough storage for 3 people, because in this apartment it's me and my boyfriend in one room and my roommate Carissa in the other room. So we just had to make do. It's pretty small in here, but I think the separation really makes it feel like a kitchen, and I added these shelves. It's really ugly, but I tried. Like I said, it's not pretty or aesthetic, but it's functional. Okay, new topic for the kitchen. A lot of you guys sent in a lot of questions on how I met my friends here, how to make friends in New York, or in general at our age, and how I met my boyfriend. I've known of my boyfriend since like the 8th grade because we both grew up in LA and stuff, and we've grown up in a very similar friend group, but it's like one of those things where it's like it's this one giant friend group, but then there's like little friend groups within it, and our little friend group were not friends. Well, not like anything against each other, we just like didn't ever get introduced until way later. We didn't actually hang out for the first time until I was a freshman in college and he was a senior in high school. I'm actually really young for my grade because I am a November birthday, so like when I graduated high school I was 17. There it is. Yeah, that's when we met. He swiped up on my story on Snapchat. Super romantic, and we started talking and such, and we went on a date, and he asked me to be his girlfriend within 2 weeks of meeting. For those who say that's a red flag, you're probably right, but hey, we're still dating 3 years later. Oh my god, we actually met this month 3 years ago. We met in April 3 years ago, and he had already gotten accepted into Parsons, so he was definitely moving to New York, and I had just made the decision to drop out of college and move to New York. So we were both moving over here, so it just worked out really great. And then after a year, Nico moved in and Carissa moved in, who I love very much and is behind the camera right now.
Oh my god.
And we've all 3 of us been living together for the past 2 years. I don't remember what the subject was. I feel like I've gone on like 10 tangents. Oh, how to make friends. Okay. Okay, I've gone through lots of ups and downs with my friends. And it's really, really fucking hard making friends in your 20s. I think the best advice for people who are trying to make friends is try making friends with people who have similar lifestyles as you and similar goals. Then if you're a planner, you want to be friends with a planner kind of thing. Because I feel like that's where I've had the most clashing within friends is when we just think very differently, we just have very different lifestyles. I don't think I could be super close to someone who like parties and goes clubbing all the time because that's just like the opposite of my lifestyle, besides Carissa. Or like people who like center their entire life around men. I feel like that's also a different type of friend that I wouldn't be able to like, can't be around people that are like that. Like, no hate to anyone who is like that. Like, I get it. I feel like we've all had that era. I've definitely had that era, but I just don't think I'm in that era right now in my life. So I think that's my biggest advice on that, and to be with people who genuinely respect you. I've definitely gone through friendships where there wasn't a mutual respect, and that can really tear you down and make you feel like shit. Remember that we're really young, or if you are in my age group, that we are really young. And there's so many people that we are yet to meet that we are gonna love and that are gonna love us, which like brings me a lot of comfort to think about. Hopefully that brings you comfort. Okay, let's go to my bedroom.
You kind of look like a real estate agent. I can show you the apartment.
Oh wait, this is the iconic doorway, guys, where I film all of my videos. I'm gonna miss her. This is where it all started, guys. Oh, and this is my Sunny Angel collection. Actually, there was a good amount of you guys who were asking about it, so let me present her. This is her. I actually don't know how many it is. This is a lot of money. Like, each of these motherfuckers is like $12 to $15. This is how I spend my money, guys. Know that. Let me show some of my favorites, because you guys actually asked about that. I love my New York Statue of Liberty baby. She's not that rare though. I love my two overall babies. This one actually has a really cute story because Nico bought it off of a girl at a restaurant because he was thinking about me and he knew that I didn't have one in overall, so that one's kind of romantic for me. Oh, this is one out of the two that I have that has blue eyes, but I really love her bow. Obviously, my chair Sunny is special to me because I only have one of them. And this is my big mommy Sunny that Nico got me for our 2-year anniversary. But I love them all. They're all my children. I'm just like naming a couple that have a little bit of stories behind them. They're the loves of my life, so they're coming with me. Oh, and look, this is Nico's collection of Smitsky's. He actually hasn't bought a single one of them for himself because I buy them for him. And I also have Skull Panda collections. And I got this in Thailand for Nico, and we got little custom Legos when we were in LA last summer. And Nico's card collection that I also got for him. Like, whenever there's any occasion, birthday, Valentine's, anniversary, Christmas, I always get him cars, Smitsky's, because he loves them, but he just never buys them for himself. So it's just kind of my thing that I always get for him. Okay guys, this is my room. This is my bed. Dex has something to say about it. My room is kind of just like a big closet. I have all of my jewelry on this wall, and then I have all of my clothes on this wall. This rack is Nico's, and we split the dresser in half. Half of it's mine, half of it's his. Shelves on the other side of the bedroom and his desk on the other side of the bedroom. And I have like a super tiny closet in here that literally just holds my socks and underwears and my shoes. And I also have 4 under the bed storage like drawers where I store a bunch of other shit. A lot of people were asking how I was able to move to New York at 18 and why. I feel like I talked about this a little bit in the kitchen, but just like basics. I worked full-time while also being in school, and I was in school. I was at FITM for fashion design, and it fucking sucked. And I was spending so much money on tuition, and it just wasn't worth it to me. So I dropped out, and I was like, I can always go back to school, but for now, I want to chase my dreams and move to New York because I've always wanted to live in New York, and I just decided, fuck it, I'll just do it now. I had just broken up well, not just, but I had broken up with my high school sweetheart, and I was like, fuck it, it's time. So I booked a little vacation here, stayed in Airbnb for like 2 weeks by myself, and I hung out, fell in love with the city, and after that I was like, I'm moving to New York. And I figured everything out. I saved up about $10,000 to move here, which wasn't enough, but it was also COVID prices, so this apartment was only $2,800 at the time, so I paid $1,400 and my other roommate paid $1,400 for the first year that we lived here, which worked out great. But it was a lot of money for me. I went from paying like $600 of rent to my mom to paying $1,400. But I was working full time and stuff, and I talked about like what I was doing and such. But I would say you definitely have to save at the very bare minimum 10 grand. And I didn't do a moving company or anything. I got military. So I had 2 military duffel bags, like giant, and 1 big suitcase. And then I had my parents ship me 1 box, and that was it. All of kitchen stuff, all of that shit I just ordered on Amazon and called it a day. I don't know. I was a very different person 3 years ago. I don't know if any of you guys were following me all the way back then or have seen pictures of me from back then, but I was very alt. I had like a super short pixie mullet cut with, I had every color hair. I had blonde, red, blue, purple, I don't know. I did every color hair, and I wore like fishnets and very tight clothes and leg warmers and stuff like that, and big eyeliner and fake eyelashes and stuff. And if you guys know me now, it's very much not my vibe. I also was in that era very much into going out. I like to go clubbing. I think I was even still drinking back then, and I think that only lasted like the first 6 months that I lived here. After the first 6 months, I feel like shit just got real, and I realized like, oh my god, I'm an adult. Something definitely switched. I guess my frontal lobe started developing. This is a little personal, but I did come to terms with a lot of trauma that I had dealt with when I was younger that I blocked out of my mind for a while. So that hit me after a year of living here, and I think that's when my whole life really changed, and I really started to like try and get my shit together and stuff, and I went completely sober off of everything. I stopped vaping, I stopped drinking, I stopped doing drugs and weed and stuff like 4 years ago, so I wasn't doing that anymore, but I just continued that, but really went straight edge, and I still do not do anything. I don't drink or anything because it makes me really anxious now. Even if I wanted to, I just can't. Like, I will have a panic attack. Like, I can barely, I can't even drink a coffee without getting anxious. Like, I can't even do caffeine. It's been so long that I've been sober that it doesn't affect me to wanting to do anything anymore. In the beginning, I definitely felt left out in like certain social situations, but now everyone close to me knows that's how I am, and that's just like the way it is. The last part of my apartment left to show you is the teensy tiny bathroom. Like, you literally like can't even be here to open the door. Like, that's how little it is. Okay, so here she is. She's tiny, but we made her work for 3 years. I got this whole situation here, kind of ugly, but like I said, functional. But I promise my new apartment is gonna be beautiful. I've already been sourcing stuff, and everything we've picked is like actual furniture. So I'm very excited. I don't even know if I want to conversate in here with you guys. Like, I don't really want to be in here. Let's do a quick question in here. Are you moving to an apartment with your friends or your boyfriend? I feel like I mentioned that. But maybe not. In the new apartment, we are moving to East Williamsburg. I'm moving in with my boyfriend, Sasha, who is my like best friend from LA's little sister, and my best friend, Sophia. We're moving into a 4-bedroom though, so me and Mika are gonna have separate bedrooms, which I think is just gonna do a whole lot for us after living together in that tiny room for 2 years. I think we both just really need our own separate spaces because we are still very young. We have our whole lives to share a room together, and I feel like right now we would both really benefit from having our own spaces, but we're still living together, so. That is my apartment in East Village. In case you guys were curious, our rent has now gone up to like $3,900 from the first year that I moved here, which it was $28. which is fucking crazy. I just wanted to tell you guys that because it's fucking crazy how much rent went up in Manhattan, which is another big reason that we're moving to Brooklyn, because we want a bigger space and not want to pay like $1 bajillion, even though we're still kind of paying $1 bajillion, but it's fine. We won't get into that. I really just wanted to film this video, one, so you guys could get to know me a little bit more and I could answer the questions that you guys have been asking me, and two, because I want to be able to look back on this video and of my first ever apartment. Like, this apartment was a really, really big deal to me. It was like the first time I lived on my own, and it's like a very big accomplishment for me that I was able to do that, but I was able to move here by myself and support myself financially for the past 3 years, and to see how far I've come in the past 3 years, and I am extremely grateful, and I'm very happy that I'm able to film and make content and work with these incredible brands that I never thought I would be able to work with, and that's now my job. And I would have never ever seen that coming 3 years ago, and I have you guys to thank for that, and I also have you guys to thank for the upgrades that I'm having in my life, like being able to move to a bigger space. It is also really, really sad moving out of here, because it's everything that I've ever known. Living in New York has been living here, and it's an amazing location where I live in East Village. It's, well, I guess I can tell you guys now that I won't live here, but I live right off of 2nd Ave, and if you guys know, I'm not gonna tell you the exact street because I technically am still living here for another couple weeks, but I live on 2nd Ave, and I'm just gonna say in between the streets of between Houston and 10th Street, somewhere in there, on 2nd Ave. And if you guys know New York, it's a very good location. I'm very close to Astor Place and trains and such. Very close to Tompkins, which I take him to all the time. It's a very young community here, which I love, and I'm really gonna miss. And I'm just really gonna miss this neighborhood a lot. I mean, that's the one thing that I'm gonna miss the most. I'm gonna miss the tree, this giant tree outside of my apartment where I hear all of the birds every morning. Just all the little things of my neighborhood that I'm just gonna miss a lot. And I am a bit nervous about that because my new neighborhood in Brooklyn is very industrial, if you know East Williamsburg, so it's a lot quieter, which has its pros and cons, but it's just like not what I'm used to at all. But it's also like an end of a chapter here, and I have to like, it's kind of like mourning the end of the chapter because I'm not gonna live here anymore, and I'm not gonna live with Carissa anymore, which makes me really sad to think about because we've lived together for the past 2 years. Definitely mourning an end of a chapter. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. I'm in an emotional era right now because I am like about to move, so I'm like very emotional saying goodbye to everything that I've known. This is so embarrassing. Let me stop. But nonetheless, I'm very grateful for the new chapter that I'm entering and very excited as well, and I'm very excited to share it with you guys. Yeah, let me know if you guys want to do more of these Q&A types questions, more like talking, sit down types of videos. This is the first one I've ever posted. This is the second to last video that I'm filming in the East Village. I'm gonna film one more before I move, which I think is going to be my East Village recommendations, so stay tuned for that. I'll see you next week. Bye!